Hello everyone, welcome back to Little Miss Bizarre Life and Death Theatre. Right up next is the mysterious incidents facing the mother and meanwhile, the mother and son are at the dentist's. The son's getting treated for toothache, mom waits outside. Suddenly, the fish tank spills water like a tantrum. Meanwhile, the plug acts up. Just as the doc checks teeth, a pigeon smashes the window, yet he stays calm, working on. Suddenly, an anticipated sound came from outside. The doctor, utterly impatient, put an oxygen mask on the boy and went out to check. He discovered the glass-breaking pigeon invaded. Water hid from the power. The oxygen tank shorted, he had to give up. Subtitles. The unfortunate thing was that the small fish above accidentally jumped into the boy's mouth, instantly causing him to choke. It was truly a case of double peril for both fish and boy. Luckily, at the critical moment, the lady doctor swooped in like a superhero to save the boy just in time, and as they exited the hospital, they ran into the rushing Xiaolai and the cop. The boy suddenly multiplied into countless versions of himself, leaving only the mother with a heavy sigh and Xiaolai feeling guilty for not being able to save him. On the other hand, Dame pondered hard and chose to fight death. Xiaolai arrived home to find Dame appearing mysteriously. They were then whisked away to a springtime funeral home where they met the legendary All Black from the first movie, who clearly looks like the Grim Reaper giving subtitles. All Black has come up with another new trick, and it seems this has once again left everyone completely puzzled. As they left, they passed a gas station to refuel, and suddenly Xiaoli's danger ahead superpower activated. She vaguely caught sight of a white sedan, and the suffocating sensation it brought felt incredibly real. Dame, in her innocence, looked around closely, only to find out it was merely a false scare. But when they explained to the police about the white car diving into the lake, the cops suddenly had a light bulb moment. Among the survivors that day, a pregnant woman drove a white sedan. Could her womb, per All Black, hold hope for survival? Cops and all had the brainwave, find the pregnant woman to change fate. But where to find her? Luckily, the officer quickly got to work, heading to the station to review footage from the police car's dashcam, where they discovered the pregnant lady's license plate. In order to track down the pregnant lady, they released an announcement while gathering the remaining survivors together. At this time, Dame shared safety tips for pregnant women in labor, and Xiaolai gave everyone a phone for safety. But not everyone took it seriously, and the unluckiest of them all was Xiaohei, who immediately decided it was time to skedaddle. But right at that very moment, an unexpected incident occurred, clearly indicating that this is not the beginning of a happy ending. Seeing this, the cops scrambled to ensure safety, while the mother who just lost her son seemed to have given up on life already. Faced with losing hope in life, she turned her back and left without any hesitation. Immediately, Xiaohei dressed, ignoring Dame's pleas. No matter how hard Dame tried to persuade him, Xiaohei just wouldn't listen. Meanwhile, the obedient Curly discovered some mysterious signs of death during the safety inspection. Seeing things going downhill, the cops quickly dialed the woman, but as she answered, her phone conveniently fell to the ground. She lowered her head to pick up her phone, and precisely at that moment, the call started blaring out the message, leaving her frozen in shock. Just as she stood up, the elevator's human trap tangled in her hair, leaving 3 of them fully stuck. She rushed out of the elevator, but the door shut coincidentally, trapping her harshly as if death played squash the cake. At this moment, Dame and Jinjai rushed in to save her, but it was too late. The woman's body had already waved goodbye to her head. Staring at the woman's disembodied head in the elevator, Xiaohei screamed in shock. Having just witnessed such horror, she was on the brink of a breakdown. She burst into the room crying, grabbed the cop's gun, thinking it's better to end it herself than be tortured. Subtitles. But right at that very moment, an absurd incident occurred. A gun that was completely loaded with bullets failed to discharge. It seems Death hadn't finished its game yet, and wasn't about to let Xiaohei off the hook. Soon, the police located the surviving pregnant woman and secured her, but time was of the essence. The pregnant lady was about to give birth, leaving the police no choice but to rush her to the hospital while the survivors were also desperately sick. While they were en route, they began sharing their wild tales, realizing that none of them were strangers to flirting with death. Bizarre twist? They all had connections to the 180 flight disaster, with Ginger narrowly escaping a mishap while on a business trip. The accident is the same one involving the laughing girlfriend in the first film. She escaped death, by coincidence, in different places. Cop was supposed to be working with colleagues but got sidetracked by a train incident call, ultimately leading to one of her colleagues meeting a tragic end. Thus, she also narrowly escaped death, and then it was Curly's turn. Curly was in Paris, with tickets to a theatre show, but on her way there, she got delayed by a falling billboard. She became a bystander, missed the show, but the theatre collapsed that night, killing many. What a narrow escape. Xiao Hei and Xiao Lai had also interacted with those survivors from the first film, and they all agreed that the 180 flight disaster altered them. As a result, these people who should have died got away, triggering a chain reaction that's clearly ruffled Death's feathers. She aimed to take them all out in one fell swoop, but despite the ongoing chaos, they strove to regain control of the situation. Soon enough, the car rushed straight into a farm, and after a series of crashes, the vehicle finally stabilized, bringing a slight calm to the storm. But Xiao Hei's injuries seemed severe. Jinjai is stuck in her seat, and the car they hit was taking a pregnant woman to the hospital. With no time to spare, they sped toward the hospital, and the cops plus the ambulance quickly arrived at the scene. Stay tuned for more chilling stories, and feel free to call us anytime. We're always here waiting for you.